In that first question what we had done in the last lecture, it covered only one situation. You put it on. In the first question which we had done in the last lecture, it covered only one situation where the selling price of Y shares, look at page 66, was 28.5. Means not Y shares, X shares. X shares selling price was 34.5, which was at a loss, but then 34.5 was more than 34 rupees. That is, it is more than last year's value. Let us take up one more situation to understand its closing entry. So write down as an extra question. Which questions did I give you in homework? 5A and in both the situations it was exactly similar, where the value was at loss but more than last year's balance sheet value. Okay, in case if it comes the other situation also, write down as an extra point, extra question. Suppose in question 1, just look at question 1 again. We purchased X shares at what price? No, we purchased X shares at 35. Last year it went down to 34. Now I want to take up a situation where it is sold below 34. We had taken a situation where it was sold at 34.5. So we discussed that provision for depreciation you debit with 1 rupee. To loss you will credit with 50 paise. In excess amount of revenue you will reverse and credit with difference amount. Now what if it is sold below 34 rupees? So let us suppose in question 1, X Limited's shares are sold at rupees 32, then pass the entries. Now understand it first, then you will write it. Put your pens down. So now it is sold even below 34 rupees. Okay, first of all, if you see the previous question, date of sale was 31st May. Can you all find that? So on 31st May 2012, what entry would we pass for selling X Limited shares? Bank account, debit. How many shares are there of X? X, there are 20,000 shares into what is the selling price? 32, so 6,40,000. Loss on sale of asset account, debit. Now how much is the loss if it is sold at 32? It was purchased at 35, so loss is 3 rupees. 20,000 into 3, 60,000. And 2, investments in X Limited's shares with 7 lakh rupees, that is full cost of 20,000 into 35. This is first entry we would pass on 31st May for selling it. Okay. In earlier question it was sold at 35, so accordingly we pass the entry. Now it is sold at 32 rupees, so accordingly we pass the entry. Any confusion with that? Now on 31st March 2013, closing entry, what would it be? What was provision for depreciation created in the last year on 31/3/12? Check it. How much? 20,000. So that you will reverse and debit. Provision for depreciation you will reverse and debit. How much of provision for depreciation was created? 20,000. Now, what is the loss? So out of that 20,000 is the loss of last year, because from 35 it already went down to 34 in the last year. So that 1 rupees of loss is to be borne by the last year, and last year's revenue account is already debited with that 1 rupee loss of 20,000. Okay. How much is the further loss of current year? Further it has gone down by 2 rupees in the current year. So what is the loss which current year's revenue account has to bear? 20,000 into 2? 40,000. Revenue account debit with excess loss. Out of 60,000, 20,000 is the loss of last year and 40,000 is the loss of current year. Did you understand this? And we will close to loss on sale of investment account. To loss on sale of investment account will close with 60,000. Okay? Understand once again, in the previous situation it was sold at 34.5, so loss was 10,000. How much of provision was already created? 20,000. So provision in both the situations you will reverse. Okay, you remember it this way. Provision you will reverse. Loss also reverse. Okay? I am telling you the shortcut method now. And difference transfer to revenue, whether debit or credit. Like in the previous situation, provision you reverse with 20,000, loss you reverse with 10,000. Where does the difference remain? Credit 10,000, that you transfer to revenue. In this situation, provision you reverse with 20,000, loss you reverse with 60,000. Where does the difference remain? In debit column. So in debit column, 40,000 transfer to revenue account. Did you all understand this portion? Anyone having any doubt with this? So any of the situations can come in exams. Get out this extra point over. So what shortcut will you follow in this closing entry? What shortcut will you follow in this closing entry? Provision for depreciation you will reverse and debit. Loss you will reverse and credit. And wherever the difference remains, whether in debit or in credit, transfer it to revenue account. Is everyone clear with that? Did you all complete this? Any confusion with this point? So once again, in closing entry of loss, profit is very simple. Entire profit you reverse and credit, transfer to revenue account. In closing entry of loss, what will you be doing it? Provision for depreciation you reverse and debit. Loss you will reverse and credit. And wherever the difference remains, whether in debit column or in credit column, you will transfer it to revenue account. Is everyone clear with this? Now, next questions are based on net assets value. These questions will be common in personal finance subject also. Last unit you have mutual funds question based on net asset value. What is this net asset value? Whatever investments are made by the mutual fund and whatever the number of units are there in the mutual fund issued in the public, the total worth, the total net worth of the whole mutual fund organization is divided by that number of units. So you get the net asset value of that particular scheme or the fund. Suppose you invest in mutual fund scheme of, let us say, ICICI Discovery Fund. There is a mutual fund which invests the money in equity market. So what does the company do every day? I am talking about every day, not every year, every day. Every day they find out that whatever money they collected in the mutual fund, where they have invested, what is the value of those investments every day? And they divide it by the number of units which they have issued in the market. So that gives you net asset value. Every day's NAV is obtained. So if yesterday the NAV was 220 rupees, today it is 222 rupees, means your mutual fund's appreciation has taken place by 2 rupees. Okay, and if you have 1000 units of mutual fund with you, then the appreciation has taken place for 2000, then there is 1 day. And every day such NAV is being calculated. Is everyone clear with it? So like for shares, how the shares are recognized in the stock market with its stock market price, the market price which is quoted in NSE or BSE. Same way, how are the mutual funds recognized in the market by their NAV? So today if you want to buy the mutual fund, then you would buy it at yesterday's NAV. Yesterday's NAV means NAV is calculated at the end of every day. So today, during the day, if you want to find it, the value will be calculated at the end of the day. Okay, so you have to buy it at yesterday's NAV, and if you want to sell it, it will be sold at today's. Any confusion with that? So how to find this net asset value? Understand it? It's very simple. Net assets means assets minus liabilities, and assets will mainly consist of investments. And yes, if any shares etc. they have invested the money, debentures, where interest is outstanding, dividend is outstanding, then that outstanding income will also be included in assets. So assets minus liabilities, these are net assets divided by number of units. Whatever number of mutual fund units are floated in the market, you will divide by that to get 1 unit's net asset value. So very simple formula. What is the formula of net asset value? Net assets means assets minus liabilities divided by, you want 1 unit's value, so divided by number of units. Is everyone clear with this? Note it down. Yes, look at question 2 on page 66. From the following details, calculate net asset value for PQM mutual fund scheme. Under the scheme, 10 crore units having face value of rupees 10 each has been issued. So your denominator, what are the total number of units issued? 10 crore. The market value of an investment, will it come in asset or liability? Investments, assets, market is A. As on 31/3/13 was rupees 360 crore. Where will receivable and accrued income come? Assets, receivable and accrued income is an asset. And then receivable and accrued income market as A amounted to rupees 2 crore and 3 crore respectively. The liabilities and liabilities including accrued expenses amounted to 2.5 crores. Did you understand this? So direct formula is to be applied, but specifically we will mention which assets we are adding and which liabilities we are subtracting. Means you write it this way. Question 2, net asset value is equal to investments. In assets, what all do we have? Investments plus receivable plus accrued income. These three are assets minus liabilities are directly given divided by number of units. Any doubts with that? Now, what are investments? 360 crore. You can mention at the top all values are in crores. So you directly can write 360. Okay. Plus, what is receivable and accrued income? 2 plus 3 minus what is liabilities? 2.5. And what are the number of units in crores again? 10. So you can simply write 10 because we are doing all the values in crores. So 360 plus 2, 362, 365 minus 2.5, 362.5 divided by 10, rupees 36.25. Did you all understand this question, everyone? In fact, we have studied this in last year in EFS subject, accounting for mutual funds was there. And more complicated questions we have studied where change in value had also taken place. So these are simple ones compared to that. Solve question 5B on your own. All of you solve question 5B on your own. All of you have written this? What answer will you get for question 5B? 18.08 homework will be question 7C. Now we take up with financial statements of a mutual fund. First we understand how to make balance sheet. Be attentive. Combined question of revenue and balance sheet will not be asked. Either you'll be asked only revenue account or you'll be asked only balance sheet. Now, here is silence everyone. Liabilities side. In company final accounts, what things be included in balance sheet? Liability side remains almost same. So liability side, what was the first item that we had included? Yes? Shareholders funds. In that, which were the two things? Share capital and reserves and surplus. Here we don't have share capital. Here we have unit capital because shares are not issued by the mutual fund. Mutual fund issues units, and then with that money accumulated, they may buy shares, they may buy debentures, they may buy liquid funds of Treasury, of Reserve Bank of India or anything. So therefore, here we don't have shares issued in the market. What do we have issued in the market is units. So instead of share capital, what will be the first liability? Unit capital. Then reserves and surplus will remain same. Okay, once again, liability side, which will be the first item? Unit capital. Second, reserves and surplus. Then what was the next item in liability side in company final accounts? Long-term borrowings, means that was under the heading non-current liabilities. Here we'll have loans and borrowings. That will include long-term borrowings itself, but we'll have loans and borrowings. Okay, once again, first, unit capital. Second, reserves and surplus. Third, loans and borrowings. And after non-current liabilities, we have current liabilities. So here, fourth item will have current liabilities and provisions. We'll show current liabilities separately and provisions separately. So four things will come on the liability side. First, unit capital. Second, reserves and surplus. Third, loans and borrowings. Fourth, current liabilities and provisions. Okay, here first, units of liability. Ayushi, units of mid-semester exam. Sangamitra, perfect concentration. Rajeshwari, unit capital. First thing on liability side is unit capital. Weber second, reserves and surplus. Then let's see third, loans and borrowings, and got a fourth, current liabilities and provisions. Now coming to asset side, be attentive. We don't maintain the normal order of assets which we have been maintaining up till now. Up till now we have been showing fixed assets first, then investments, then current assets and so on. But here reverse order is followed. Reason, fixed assets are not there only in mutual fund. Generally they have rented premises, they don't own the buildings, etc. Okay, because the money is not of their own, they are borrowing the money from the public to invest it. So that money of the public which they are borrowing, they cannot use it in buying the buildings and offices. With that money, they have to buy shares and debentures, for which purpose you are giving the money to the mutual fund. So generally, they have rented premises. They don't have their own premises. At the most, the investments may be in furnitures. So fixed assets are minimum in a mutual fund organization. Okay. Major asset will consist of investments. Majority of assets will consist of investment. So asset side we start with investments, the most important asset for a mutual fund organization. Okay, which is the very first asset that we will write? Investments. Then we'll have deposits. Means whichever money they are not ideally able to invest would be deposited in scheduled bank or it would be deposited with some other companies. Fixed deposits, term deposits will be made with various financial institutions. So that is also kind of investment only, but it is not directly going into shares and debentures. It is deposited with a bank or any financial institution. So first most asset will be investment, second deposits, then current assets, then there is cash balance, outstanding, accrued receivables, etc. So third would be current assets, fourth would be fixed assets. Fixed assets will come at the end. And lastly, if any expenses are not written off, deferred revenue expenses. Any deferred revenue expenses, miscellaneous expenses which are not written off will come as fictitious asset last. So once again, which are the 5 assets will have in the order. Very first, what is the most important asset? Investments, then deposits, then current assets or other current assets, then fixed assets, and then deferred revenue expenses not. Did you understand this order, everyone? Yeah. So look at page number 63. Look at page number 63. Do you see at the bottom content of scheme-wise balance sheet? Balance sheet as on 31st March. Liabilities side, very first there is unit capital. In unit capital, first we have initial capital. Initial capital with which they started the mutual fund, like authorized capital, and that will double underline. That will not be included in the total. So write down in bracket not to be included in total. Initial capital in bracket not to be included in total. It's like authorized capital. And then unit capital that is issued, including number of units and face value per unit. This is what will be included in the total. So like in share capital, we used to have authorized capital, then issued, subscribed and paid up capital. Here instead of authorized capital, we will have initial capital. We will double underline it. It will not be included in the total. And then we will have issued unit capital. Then reserves and surplus, units premium reserve. Instead of security premium, here you will have units premium. Okay, shares are not issued, units are issued. So units premium reserve, general reserve, dividend equalization reserve, and any other reserves like unrealized appreciation reserve and appropriation. Note opening balances transfer from or to reserves, closing balances shall be separately disposed for each type of reserve. So opening balances plus we will add transfer and minus transferred from reserves. And minus whatever amount remains will be the closing balance. For each reserve, we will show the calculation. Loans and borrowings will include loan from Reserve Bank of India, from settlers, from other commercial banks, from others. If any loans are secured, the nature and extent of security should be disclosed. In bracket will write which security is offered. And borrowings by the scheme with amount, rate of borrowings, rate of interest, source and other terms are shown separately and source. Current liabilities and provisions. In current liabilities will include sundry creditors, interest payable on loans. Mark this contract for purchase of investment in securities important because other current liabilities we have been doing in general also in accounts, but this is a new thing. What is this contract for purchase of investment in securities? It's a liability. If any new, suppose any new IPO is coming up, initial public offering is coming up. So if any new IPO is coming up, in that a contract is made by a mutual fund that when the IPO comes, they will buy 1,000 or lakh or 10 lakh units or shares of that particular company whenever the IPO comes. Now this becomes the liability of the mutual fund. So in the coming few months, whenever that IPO is being issued by the company, the mutual fund will have to buy that many units. And it is short-term liability only because in few months you have to buy the same. So mark this important. Contract for purchase of investment in securities will come in current liability. It's a new item. Okay. Bank account overdrawn as per books means bank overdraft. So that we have been doing earlier also. Unclaimed distributed income means unclaimed dividend. That also we have been doing earlier. So that's current liability and others. Provision will include provision for loss or depreciation in the value of investment in securities. Provision for doubtful deposits, provision for outstanding, any accrued income considered doubtful, provision for gratuity, provision for staff welfare fund, and proposed income. It's like proposed dividend. We used to show it in short-term provisions. Same with proposed income distributed on initial capital and unit capital and other. Contingent liabilities. Disclosure should be made for all contingent liabilities showing separately underwriting commitments, uncalled liability on partly paid shares and other commitments and others. So almost same contingent liability is what we used to have in company and accounts. Investments. Now assets at very first asset will be investment. So investment in equity shares or warrants, preference shares, privately placed debentures or bonds, listed debentures and bonds, calls paid in advance, term loans, central and state government securities, commercial papers and others. Term loans means loans issued by the government, by the bank, and mutual fund units have given money for the same. So that's an investment. Deposits, deposit with scheduled banks, deposit with companies or institutions and others. Other current assets, balance with bank in current account, cash on hand, sundry debtors. Mark this important: contract for sale of investment in securities. Like contract for purchase is a liability. Same way as a contract is made for sale, they are issuing the securities and a contract is made by the other person to buy that. Then that becomes your current asset. The money becomes receivable in a short period of outstanding and accrued incomes, advance deposits, bridge finance, shares or debentures, application money, pending allotment and others. In fixed assets, depreciated cost and fixed assets as whole or net block may be disclosed. So this is how we'll be writing the balance sheet items. Okay. The markings what we will be doing is, which are the four liabilities first? Unit capital, then reserves and surplus, then loans and borrowings, then current liabilities and then provisions. Okay, in assets, investments, deposits, other current assets and fixed assets, and mentioned in the format they have not mentioned it, deferred revenue expenditure not written off. Fifth asset, deferred revenue expenditure not written off. Deferred revenue expenditure not written off. So these markings will be doing. Okay. Look at page number 67, question number 4. Read it. Page number 67, question number 4. Prepare the balance sheet of NKC Mutual Fund Scheme for the year ended 31st March 2012 from the following information given below. Listed securities. Where will you show this listed equity shares? Investments. For mutual fund, equity shares are always investments. Market as I. Rupees are in lakhs already. Unlisted, that is listed and now unlisted investments. Non-convertible debentures and bonds. Investments, market as I. Certificate of deposits. Investments. Units of domestic mutual fund. Investments. Any confusion in this? Market as I. Where will you show deposit with scheduled banks? Deposits. Market as D. Deposits with companies and industries. Deposits. Market as D. Cancel reserve repo rating 83.3. There is no item such like that. So cancel that completely. Where will you show initial capital? Unit capital. Market as UC, but it will not be included in the total. It will double underline. It's like authorized capital. And where will you include this issued and subscribed capital? Unit capital. This will be included in the total. Market as UC. Unit premium reserves. Reserves and surplus RS. Unrealized appreciation reserve. Reserves and surplus RS. Where will you include management fees payable? Current liability. Payable CL. Current liability. Then general reserve. Reserves and surplus RS. Trusteeship fees payable. Payable current liability CL. Then revenue accounts balance. Reserves and surplus. Revenue accounts final balance was carried, like P&L accounts balance was carried forward in reserves and surplus. Provision for gratuity, P. Provision. Then provision for staff welfare fund, P. Provision for doubtful income or deposits, P. Deferred revenue expenditure to the extent not written off, DEFF, that will come at the end. Contract for purchase of investment in securities, current liabilities, CL. Bank account overdraft, current liability. Unclaimed distributed income, current liability. Other short-term liabilities, current liabilities. Balance with bank in current account, current assets. Outstanding and accrued income, current assets. Contract for sale of investments, current assets. Amount receivable from asset management company, AMC, current assets, and other current assets, current assets. Did everyone understand this? Let us make the balance sheet. Don't ask idiotic questions. The chapter is to be completely prepared. There is no option. You expect that NAV question will come, and in option you will get balance sheet. You'll have compulsory question of balance sheet. Okay, or revenue account. It will have weightage of 10 to 12 marks, so it will be scoring yes. NKC Mutual Fund. Rupees in lakhs you will mention. Make the formats everyone. Now be attentive. Be careful with the figures because they are in decimals. So very first liabilities. Silence. Very first you will have unit capital. In that initial capital 10213.31. Double underline, not to be included in the total. Then issued and subscribed capital. Now units are of 10 rupees, so 31317.14 lakhs divided by 10 means you'll have 3131.714 lakh units of rupees 10 each, and then 31317.14. As I said, be careful with the values. Are you all clear with this? Then second is reserves and surplus. Now here we have more than one, so we'll write it in a column. First column of amount. Has everyone written with unit capital? Any doubts in that? Now all the items marked as RS. So unit premium reserve, that is 2681.41. Unrealized appreciation reserve, that is 2681.41, sorry 7003.41. Then revenue general reserve 16549.72. Then revenue account balance 6374.41. 32608.95 are reserves and surplus. Any doubts with this? Then after reserves and surplus, which is the third liability we have to show? Loans and borrowings. And there are no loans and borrowings. Did we mark anything as LB? So nil. Okay, there are no loans and borrowings. Directly we will have current liabilities and provisions. But within this also you have to show current liabilities separately and provisions separately. So first you write current liabilities. All the items marked as CL. First is management fees payable 43.85. Then we have trusteeship fees payable 0.51, contract of purchase of investment in securities 1.83, bank account overdraft 5.28, unclaimed distributed income 339.18, other short-term liabilities 189.83. So total current liabilities 580.48. Then provisions, all the items marked as P. Provision for gratuity 61.2. Provision for staff welfare fund 2.22. Provision for doubtful income or deposits, no other provisions 163.42. And total of liabilities 64669.99. Now we will show the assets. Yes, in assets, what is the order? First asset is investments. First asset to be shown is investments. Now that includes listed equity shares 41599.70, non-convertible debentures and bonds 1000, certificate of deposits 713.68, units of domestic mutual fund 14502.38. No other investments, so total 57815.76. Then after investments, which asset is to be shown? Deposits. All the items marked as D. Deposit with scheduled banks 5717.64. Then deposits with companies and industries 95.30, 581.2.9. Then third we show current assets. Now current assets include balances with bank in current account 471.64, outstanding and accrued income 16.81, contract for sale of investment in securities 419.95, amount receivable from AMC 0.89, and other current assets 7. Is what is the total? 916.29. Fixed assets, are they given? Nil. As I said, generally fixed assets won't be there. So nil. And deferred revenue expenditure not written off, that is 125. Do you understand this? What is the total coming to? Okay, 64669.99. So all are clear with this question? This can come for 8 to 10 marks in exams.